Hi and welcome to the next vlog. So it's actually just night time, and as you can see, a little bit blind there, I have jacked the car up just on the street there, and I'll actually be dropping my diff tonight. So I have already started dropping the diff, and I'll show you guys underneath it a little bit. So there's my diff. So what I'll be doing tonight is completely dropping that down. In the last video I showed you guys how the diff was leaking, and now to fix that I'm going to drop it out, replace the seals, and then drop it back in. I'll also probably weld the diff while I'm at it. So the first step to dropping the diff is draining it. I have the hex head 14mm, and that slots right in. So I've got a plug here, and that bit just goes right in real nicely. The next step after you drain all the fluid out is to disconnect the sway bar. It's easier to do this at the start than at the end, just so it's out of the way nice and early. So if you look, there's a bolt at the top there, which is a 13mm, and I've already taken that out. So the reason we're doing that is because the mounting points for the diff, you got two at the back, so one here and one identical on the other side, and the sway bar is actually in the way of that. So by cracking the sway bar, you can lift it up and you can get more access to that. So I've already done that. Okay, we'll tie it up when I need to get to those, but for now I'm just going to leave it hanging there. After that, the next step that we got to do is disconnect the shafts. So this is where I was talking about that special bit earlier, so your Torx bit, which I have right here. So you can see that special pattern there. You want to make sure that you have one of these, otherwise you can risk stripping it. So what you need to do is you actually need to get it over there and get the boot out of the way. This should, in theory, just pop out. Perfect. Final stage is to disconnect the drive shaft. So I've already started doing that. Same thing goes, get the bolts you can, disconnect the handbrake, spin around, and then go from there. So, yep. So disconnect that. These are already disconnected, as you can see. So after that, the only thing that's left to do is to get the three mounting points there, and here. And once I get those three mounting points done, then the dip will drop right out. So happy days. That's the diff. So after only a little bit of struggling, managed to get the diff out. So one other thing I forgot to mention, there's actually a sensor here. So make sure you unplug that from the back of the diff before you drop it down. So we're good to go. Once again, I'm doing all the work on the car at night. So it's a bit hard to see, and sorry if the camera's a little bit dark, but I'll go through it. So I'm actually upgrading to an E36 rack from an M3, so it's a Z3 rack. And the reason I'm doing that is because it's got a lot of better ratios in it, so you can reach full lock quicker than the typical rack, and it bolts straight in, which is really good. So I'll show you guys exactly how easy it was and what I had to do the upgrade, and we'll walk through it. The only thing that holds the rack onto the car is these two bolts. So there's a bolt there and a bolt there, and that's what holds the rack on. The rack actually sits at the very bottom of the car. So it's one of the nicest and easiest power steering racks I've done. It's a new day, and I'm actually going to do some work on the car in the light. So I'm putting the diff back in. I need to put my outer tie rod arms on, and just finish up everything. So the steering rack's all in, which was good finish at the other night. But I still need to do a few more things. So once the diff's in, I can fill it up, and then pretty much the car will be good to go. So gonna get that done today. It is the night before my first track event, so going up to Lake Slide for a grip and slide event. So we've got skid pan, drift track, and then a grip track. So it goes from 7 till 5, I think. So pretty much a whole day of just track. So 3 events, you can switch between whatever you want. It's really good. So I'm gonna go through what I have been laying out to take to the track. So everything I'm gonna take with me in case I need to fix things, in case I need to do anything, so that you can see what I'll be taking. So let's get started. All right, so to start off, I've got my rims. So I've got 2 full sets of rims just to skid with. I've got the set of the BBSs, which are those ones, and the Steelies as well. So I've got 3 of the BBS rims on the car. I just need to fit the final one over and swap that over. But I will be using the Steelies just for the normal driving to take me back home, and the BBSs on the track. They've got a little bit better fitment, so they're actually thinner, and they will be my skid tires. Next, I've got my jerry cans. So I've got the 25 litre and the 5 litre, just because I have 2. I needed to buy this one when I was in a pinch, ran out of fuel one time, but I bought this one today, so I'll be filling those up. And I've also got my jack stands, my chocks, my low profile jack. I got my breaker bar, my Torx bits, so for the axles and differential, anything like that. I've got a second full set of lug nuts. So the 2 sets of rims, I have the Steelies and the BBS rims, actually need different length lug nuts. So these ones are off the Steelies, they're a little bit shorter. Then I've got my full socket set. I got adjustable spanners, the 14mm hex bit for the diff plug. There's a few other tools that I haven't got here but that are already in the car. So cable ties, pliers, just your general necessities, a couple of screwdrivers, anything that you might need to use when something goes wrong, or you just need to, in a pinch, take something off, something like that. So pretty much everything I need to do track maintenance, full fluids, anything like that. So I'll be putting that all in the car before tomorrow morning. boy are on our way to the track. So 8:30 start, and yeah, then we'll rip some fucking skids. Let's go!